Welcome, everyone, to our webinar today. I am Rami Deeb, your moderator, and I'm very excited to introduce you to our official certified integration with Coupa, further enabling you and your team to streamline and accelerate your AP operations. Our webinar today is filled with information, but first, we're going to have a quick introduction and then we're going to have a deep dive into how this integration with Coupa works. We're going to have a deep dive demo with my colleague. And then we're going to have a look under the hood to see how this integration through API looks like. And please, if you have any questions, make sure to add those to the comments section of wherever you're watching us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. And now, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to our speakers today. I'm very excited to welcome to stage my colleague Martin Kajik, Principal Solution Architect at Rossum, Martin Hulan, Extensions UX Architect at Rossum, and Wojciech Paukner, Product Manager at Rossum. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Tremendous. To jump right in, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. Processing documents is not simple as it sounds. It's mired with challenges. If done manually, it's error prone, it's tiring, and quite frankly, it's boring. If done at scale, you're probably dealing with a lot of volume. The sheer volume of documents exchanged between businesses is on a monumental scale. The need for speed actually is unprecedented. Businesses want their payments now. Accounts payable teams are rushing to make things happen. And all this leads to a lot of errors. And if you're watching this webinar today, you're probably dealing with one or a combination of these three challenges: people-related challenges, process-related challenges, and technology-related challenges, which is the key topic of today's webinar. And moving on, I want to hand things over to my colleague Wojciech, who's going to show us exactly what we are doing at Rossum, now fully integrated with Coupa, to solve this problem from point A to point Z. Wojciech, I leave the ground for you, and I know that you have a lot of cool things to share with us.
Thank you, Rami. Good afternoon from sunny Prague. My name is Wojciech. I'm product manager here at Rossum. And today I'm excited to welcome you to a pivotal moment in accounts payable automation, the launch of the official Rossum Coupa integration. So let's get into it. But before we dive deeper into that, I would just like to mention that I wouldn't be exaggerating if I say that we are showing you an efficiency factory today. So let's start with document ingestion. Rossum acts as a unified, let's say, gateway for all your documents coming from various data sources. It can be email, file storage like SFTP or S3, or some API. It can also digest various document types, ranging from scanned image documents, digital PDFs, up to structured formats like XML or EDI format. Once the data are ingested by Rossum, the overall Rossum Intelligent Document Processing Platform comes to play. It first starts with intelligent pre-processing and sorting. So Rossum makes sure to filter out some spam or irrelevant documents in your flow. And it's also able to detect duplicates and to act on them, typically to reject them. There are some AI features that allow you to automatically classify the document types, and based on that, route those documents into the correct document streams. And you can imagine document stream being a folder for your documents. Furthermore, in cases where you have a single file which contains multiple documents, like a PDF with multiple invoices or invoice and delivery note, Rossum is able to intelligently detect these individual documents in the same file, split the file, and send it again to the right document streams. So we have all the documents in Rossum, and we have them automatically organized. So what's next? The data extraction. And I'm not being too optimistic when I'm saying that the extraction with Rossum Aurora AI solution is just a click away, because Rossum Aurora AI solution doesn't use templates. Instead, it's an intelligent system that understands your documents and gets better at it over time. Rossum Aurora not only extracts the raw data from the documents, but it also makes sure that the data are normalized and are in a format which is easy for you to process later in your process. And if you have some really custom normalization, or you want to do some crazy transformations, you can do that in Rossum pretty easily as well, ranging from string operations, calculations, up to merging multiple data points together. On top of that, if you want to, you can connect your master data, for example, from Coupa to Rossum and enrich the extracted data with that. And you can then do things like PO matching, for example. However, Rossum is not only data extraction platform, it also acts as communication platform. It's super easy to accept or reject documents in Rossum. And Rossum will even intelligently suggest an email for the vendor to notify them that something wasn't quite right. And if you want to make sure that the document gets to some person at your organization based on its content, for example, the total amount is larger than something, or you just want to have some control over certain type of documents, you can use Rossum's approval workflows for that. So all of this happens in the Rossum's intelligent processing, Rossum's intelligent document processing platform. And now to the interesting part, which is the reason why we are here, and that's the integration with Coupa. We could categorize the document flows into two main pieces. One being the fully automated workflow, where there's no human in the loop, and the document just flows through. Sounds good, right? And then there's the other case, where you want some human in the loop. For example, something's not quite adding up on the invoice, or you just want to have control over certain type of documents. The good news is that our integration supports both these cases amazingly. And my colleague Martin will be talking about this later in this webinar. But at the beginning, I've mentioned that we are unveiling basically an efficiency factory. And I want to give you a little bit of grounds for this bold claim. So I want to share a story. I want to share a story from NFI. NFI is a leading third-party logistics provider in North America, and they have been able to streamline their accounts payable process significantly thanks to Rossum. They have been leveraging Rossum's AI to ingest the documents and extract data without any templates. Some key things in their implementations were, for example, document splitting for efficient document processing, as well as data validation using their master data from Coupa. In the end, the result of this innovation is that the data coming to their Coupa system are high quality, and there's basically no mess in it. And as you can see, it saved them quite a lot of time. I think it's now time that we dive a bit deeper into how it works, how the integration looks like. So I'm going to hand my microphone over to Martin, who will walk you through the architecture of things. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Vojta. Hello, everyone. My name is Martin Hulan. I'm from Rossum development team, and now I would like to talk more about the technical aspects of our integration. So let's take a look under the hood in the next couple of minutes. So for the integration with Coupa, we use the cloud-based Coupa Core API. This is a modern API which Coupa offers for the other systems for the integration. It's secure, it's a RESTful API. And technically, we built two connections to this API from Rossum side. And these connections or data flows, as we say, they work independently by design, and I will tell you why. The first one, you can see it on the bottom part of the picture, is for the synchronization of the master data. So Rossum is maintaining a replica of some master data from Coupa. For example, it can be a purchase orders information or vendor information, and these data are later used for the validations. The master data are stored in our Rossum master data hub. They are securely stored here. And as I said, they are later used. This connection works on the scheduled basis. So we are synchronizing these data with given time period, and the period is configurable. It depends on the nature of the data. So for example, if we are synchronizing currencies, we can synchronize it once per day, for example, or very, very rarely. And the purchase order data, they can be synchronized, for example, with every 10 minutes. So this was the first connection. The second connection is for sending the data back to Coupa, from Rossum to Coupa. And in general, Rossum is receiving documents, then it's extracting the documents, the data, and then we are using the master data for the validation. So for example, we are checking if the purchase order number is correct, if the line items are correct in the invoice, and if the vendor information is correct, for example. And when we are sure that everything is right, we send these data to Coupa, and we are creating invoices and taking or sending all these extracted data, placing them to the Coupa. Also, we are sending the original documents. Usually these are PDFs, so we are attaching them as well. And these will appear as image scans in the Coupa terminology inside the Coupa system. Okay, on the next slide, here we have a summary of the benefits which our architecture brings to the table. The first one is the speed. So by having these two separated data flows, we dramatically decreased the traffic to the Coupa API. Simply, we don't need to ask the Coupa API with every document, for example, for a vendor information or things like that. And by having this, we significantly decrease the delays which are needed for processing of the documents. The second aspect is reliability. So by having this architectural design, we just prevented to have a single point of failure on Rossum side, and this integration is more robust, and the document processing runs smoothly. And finally, the security aspect, our integration is certified by Coupa. So we follow all the security standards set by Coupa, and Rossum as a whole is also complying with the international security standards like ISO 27001 or SOC 2. Okay, this was the brief overview of the technical things regarding this integration, and now I'm heading over to Martin Kazík, who will show us how things work in the live demo.
Thank you, Martin. Hello, everybody. My name is Martin Kazík. I'm a principal solution architect, and as Martin has said, I'm here to show you how the integration actually works. So what I have prepared for you is the Rossum environment, where the integration that was described by Vojta and Martin is already configured. That means we have a connection, API connection to our Coupa sandbox instance. The master data necessary for the use cases that I will be presenting were already replicated to Rossum's master data hub databases, and also the connection for the export of the documents from Rossum to Coupa API was configured. So what you are looking at is Rossum UI. I have one queue here with a prepared document. This document represents a scenario where the document contains the PO number, and I will be showing the PO matching. There is another scenario with the non-PO document. Let me refresh the document quickly, the screen quickly. I have just sent that document to Rossum, because the other document, the non-PO one, it represents the scenario where a human intervention is not necessary. That document was prepared to just fly through Rossum without any human intervention. It is gonna be processed here in a minute, and we will just see the result of that processing in the export step here, and we will also see the result in Coupa itself. That's, by the way, the second part of this demonstration. I'll be showing the full flow, email ingestion of the document into Rossum, processing by the AI, validation by a human in case of the PO back document, export, and then we will be looking at results in Coupa itself in our Coupa sandbox instance. So let me refresh again to see if the document is here. I don't see it still. So let us now take a look at the PO backed one, and we will check the non PO backed later. So let me open the document. What we are looking at is something what is called in Rossum an annotation screen. So on the left side, you can see extraction schema. This is a set of fields that we are extracting from the document. On the left side, of course, the original PDF file that Rossum is reading. You can see that I don't have really too much work with the extraction itself. Rossum did that for me already. So the AI was able to detect the positions of the values and extract them. I will now go through the schema and explain on some of the fields their relation to the Coupa integration, and also I will describe a little bit how we are saving manual work here. So starting from the top, the document type field. I have two choices here, invoice and credit note. These are the document types that we support against Coupa in a majority of the scenarios. So Rossum, again, detects the document type. The AI is able to differentiate between invoice and credit note. And based on the selection or prediction of this type, the document is created in Coupa. So it's either invoice or the credit note. In this general information section, we have other fields like standard invoice fields, invoice number, invoice date, due date. These are, of course, mapped to Coupa, and then they will be transferred there. The next two sections, customer and the supplier, are directly related to the master data that we replicate from Coupa. For both, we extract 3 different pieces of information from the document, and we use this information to actually look up the object in Coupa. So in case of a customer, it is a business unit, or you can maybe know it under the name chart of accounts. This is the customer's entity mentioned on the header level of the invoice. And in Rossum, we want to save that step. We don't want the user to be selecting that, because the document indicates which entity of the customer is the receiver of this invoice. So we read that information, and based on what we read, we find that record in Coupa, we match it, and we send it to Coupa. And we will see that it will be actually pre-filled on the document header there. The next section is very similar. Again, supplier-related information is extracted, and based on that, we are looking up the supplier in the Coupa master data. We match it, and again, we will assign it to the invoice in Coupa, saving the manual work, allowing for full end-to-end automation. Next section in the extraction schema, very important one, obviously, for the invoice processing, is the section of VATs and amounts. Here, obviously, we are extracting the numerical values, numerical amounts from the invoice. I'm not going to go very deep here. What is worth mentioning is that what you see is not all. There is a lot happening in the background. We are calculating a lot of values. We are checking the values against each other. We are checking lines against the headers to ensure the consistency of the data. We are calculating missing values to satisfy the needs of the Coupa integration, and to normalize any layout of the document to the set of values that Coupa needs to create the invoice properly. So there is some heavy lifting happening in the background. We are not going to go into the detail Just have to believe me that that it is happening. The next section in our schema is related to purchase order. I've mentioned this document is PO backed. By detecting the order number on the invoice, Rossum kind of switches itself into a PO backed workflow. And that means in this case that Rossum will require the PO line to be associated with every invoice line on this invoice. So with this, I'm switching to the invoice lines. Here you can see that again, Rossum detected the table correctly. It extracted all the information. There are 2 line items on this document, and on one of them we have the error. And this is actually how Rossum tells me that I, as a user, am needed in this scenario. My assistance is needed because the automation was not possible. Now, what we want to do in Rossum, we want to, of course, automate as much as possible, but we also want to automate reliably. We do not want to send garbage out. We don't want to send incorrect information. So we are trying to very precisely find that balance between what can be automated and what requires human intervention. In this case, let us take a look what happened. On the first line, actually, Rossum, as you can see, was able to match automatically the PO line. Yeah, based on the supplier part number, based on the description, based on the invoice number from the header, Rossum was able to find it reliably. However, on the second line, the supplier part number, neither the supplier part number nor the description are reliable enough to identify the PO line, and that's why I am, as a user, need to select it manually now. And Rossum offers me automatically the active PO lines from the matched PO. So I'm gonna select this one, and after revalidation of the data, Rossum will unlock the confirm button for me, and it will let me confirm the document. This is what I'm doing right now. So it is now being confirmed. You can see that it is exporting. In the meantime, the other document, you can see that it was exported just 4 minutes ago. The other document was processed and exported to Coupa. You can see this little A, which indicates that it was exported automatically. I am now switching to Coupa, where the second part of this demonstration will happen, and I will just refresh the screen to get the documents. Not sure what is happening. Why am I not able to see them? So let's give it some time. Gonna need to adjust the filtering here. Yeah, now we can see the non-PO document. But this is not the one I'm looking for. So as usually during the live demonstration, something goes wrong. So let me investigate a bit to see what happened. Okay, so let me use one of the documents from the previous run to show you how the document is created in Coupa. So this is the PO backed one that I have just exported. You can see on the header that the supplier that was matched was correctly assigned to the header level. Also, the chart of accounts. This is the mentioned customer's entity. Was correctly linked to the document. We can see the invoice number, invoice date, currency. All was transferred to Coupa correctly. Very important and interesting part of the document or invoice export in Coupa are the line items. In this case, we have 2. One and 1 and 2. These are the line items that were extracted in Rossum from the document. You can see that the PO line is linked, and what Coupa has actually done is that Coupa populated also the billing strings. The financial segmentation, it was taken over from the identified PO line and populated to the document itself. Also, the taxation was, of course, transferred, and the same on the second document. Coupa recalculated all the totals, and this is how the document looks like. This is basically it. Let me go a little bit back again to show you the non-PO backed one. Is basically very similar document. What I didn't show you on the previous one, Rossum, of course, also sends the image scan, so you can see the original PDF in Coupa as well, the one that was processed in Rossum. In this particular scenario, what you are looking at is from the email submission to Rossum to Coupa without any human intervention. Yeah, I'm actually showing some of the older documents from previous runs because something went wrong. I'm sorry about that. However, the results are the same. And this is it. This is all I wanted to show you to make you believe that we can actually make the integration work. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. And no worries at all. I mean, one of our viewers mentioned that it's Murphy's Laws in action, so it's all good. No worries. I'm sure our audience has witnessed such hiccups before, but it's not an issue. And it goes without saying that an official integration is not just about just plugging two softwares together, but actually you benefit as a user from the security benefits, from the continuous updates, from the speed of implementation and all that. And now allow me to welcome the rest of our speakers, my colleagues Wojciech and Martin Hulan, who are going to join us for the live Q&A session. And I know our audience here have plenty of them. I know that you've dropped them all in the comments section, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. However, one of our audience members had previously emailed their question. I'm just going to read it out loud. With permission, I will ask the question from Andreas Wall, one of our viewers today. He's asking about the Rossum and Coupa exchanging data element. So which data sets are exchanged? One, what are import channels for invoices? Is it PF via email, EDI, etc.? And how are invoices reconciled in Coupa? And the last question is, are there any country specifics like Germany different to Italy or other countries? So whoever feels like they can answer this question, please.
I think I can take the first two. Regarding the data we can synchronize, basically we are using the Coupa API, so we can ask the API for any kind of data which is available through this API. So whatever is available, we can synchronize to the Rossum side. We can use some kind of filtering. So for example, we can ask just for a fresh portion of the data using the filtration according the date created or date updated. And also we can specify which concrete data fields we would like to fetch just to use a necessary minimum, just to avoid fetching the whole big data objects from the Coupa side. So basically whatever is available, we can use. And the second one is regarding the formats we can ingest, right? So Rossum, like historically, we are processing the PDFs and image scans, and now we are also supporting the structured formats. And out of the box, we are supporting an XML-based formats like a UBL, for example, and JSON-based formats. And also, in general, we can support any kind of format. We handle it like a custom format, for example, a flat TXT or an IDOC, or these legacy EDI formats like X12 or the Edifact. So we can handle this, but we are handling it as a custom format. So that needs some kind of development, let's say. It's not out of the box, but we can work with it.
Tremendous. We have another question that was submitted by Maitri Mahabir. Particularly, does Rossum integrate with Dynamics GP?
Yes, I can answer this one as well. Yes, Rossum can integrate basically with any system. So if the system offers some kind of API, we can build an integration with that. We don't have it out of the box right now, but yeah, as I said, it's technically possible, and we can build it.
Perfect. Wonderful. And we do have a question from Mr. Nelson Fernandez. He's asking, do you have more complex, between parentheses, production invoices? If I may answer this, maybe I believe that you would like to see a more complex line items and different pages, etc. But if you have anything specific, please feel free to reach out, and we'd be happy to help you, Nelson. Unless someone else has in-depth
No,
answer.
I think it was related to the demo. So I was just about to say that, yeah, we would have them. We process them with the customers. I just didn't make it to prepare more complex artificial document. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, if there is anything specific, as Rami has said, we can discuss that offline.
Tremendous. We just got in a question from I'm sorry, I don't see their name, but do we have a percentage of benefits saved, example, time or money, by integrating Rossum? So how much time and money would you be saving if someone starts using Rossum now?
So, gentlemen, who is the closest?
I'm gonna jump in. I would say, I would highly recommend that you check out our customer stories page, where we have multiple stories about customers from all use cases: logistics, manufacturing, retail, all you can think of, and you can explore exactly how they've benefited, and particularly when it comes to integration in terms of scaling up. So, for example, one of our most recent case studies is from NFI, who we've mentioned earlier. So I highly recommend that you check out our customer case studies. We have stories from the likes of Volt, NFI, and many others as well. So please do check it out. And if you require an in-depth analysis as well, we'd be happy to jump on a call, offline, a conversation. We have a follow-up question from Andreas Wall, specifically, how do you handle multiple invoices to the same purchase order? Let's say there are multiple deliveries. How is over-invoicing prohibited?
That's, I guess, for me. I think in general, it's important to mention that in general, we are tailoring the integrations based on the specific needs of a particular customer. So the business logic is not really written in the stone. Specifically about the multiple invoices to the same purchase order, the most usual scenario would be to just let it match. We can, of course, do the check about the quantity and the total amount. However, Coupa does this as well. So we would push it to Coupa, and Coupa then does all these checks, including two-way and three-way matchings, and indicates all the discrepancies there. This is the most usual scenario from our experience. However, as I've said, we can tailor it, and we can utilize any data from Coupa about the POs and indicate the warnings and discrepancies directly in Rossum UI.
Wonderful. So I believe we've reached the end of our webinar today. If anyone has any more questions, our email is right in front of you on the screen, rossum@rossum.ai. On behalf of the entire team Rossum, I would like to thank first our speakers and thank you for attending. And again, if you'd like to explore more about our industry-defining AI-powered transactional document automation platform, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and one member of our team will reach out to you. Thanks again, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.